Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Mo and Lottie. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast today, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, or if you are watching or listening on a podcasting platform, leave us a review. 5 stars would be dope, but anything you think we deserve, just whatever, let us know what you think. And it's a momentous week. That's if you're a Marvel fan, this is the week for you. Loki season 2 finale drops on the same day as the Marvels hits theaters. And of course, we have Invincible season 2 is going on. Yeah, being a superhero fan is dope right now. But before we get into all that, Lottie, my friend, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, what you been up to, nerdy? I know I usually ask that. What you been up to, nerdy, my friend?
Honestly, nothing much at all. Have suffering a little bit of
give me your
withdrawal.
card. Give me your nerd card.
Just suffering a little bit of withdrawal from not having Spider-Man. So I just been watching. I've been watching football. So
Oh, give me your nerd card right now. Football. How dare you? No. Actually, isn't there a big? Don't you have a big game this week?
if Miami fans will say it's a big game, but
Oh,
Florida State fans just calling it the next week the next week's ass whooping.
yeah. Well, I hope that the team from Florida wins. So yay. Uh, what have I been? Oh, I've been doing nerdy this week. Besides watching all the TV I usually watch, I went and saw The Creator, which I mentioned to you before we started. It's a really great sci-fi movie. It's directed, written by Gareth Edwards, who the reason why you should know or care about this person is he was the original director of the Rogue One Star Wars movie that everyone seems to like. He didn't finish the movie, but he did direct part of it. I think it's a great movie. John David Washington leads the whole thing. Like near future is talking about AI and robots and shit like that. Really cool stuff, and I really enjoyed it. So anyway, this is Supercast. We talk about superhero things on this show. So this week, all the news we're going to talk about includes a rumored casting for Creature Commandos. They're getting a pretty cool actress to play a pretty cool villain. Miles Morales gets an upgrade in the Insomniac universe, and it's got some nerds kind of mad. So we're gonna talk about that. The SAG strike continues, and there are particular things that are keeping that deal from going through. What is the AMPTP up to now? So we'll get that going. Marvel Spotlight. That's a new thing that Marvel's got going. What does it mean for the MCU going forward? And what's the first property that's going to be under that banner? Nia DaCosta she talks about what it's like to direct a Marvel movie, and sort of refutes something from that Variety article. And we'll talk about what that means, and then finally, Blade gets rated R. It's going to be the second rated R MCU movie. What does that mean for the Daywalker? So, Lottie, plenty of stuff to talk about. You ready, man?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get into this. So, Creature Commandos, which we heard last week, they were like, oh, well, it's not coming out to 2025 because we're animating it and so forth. And we were like, that sucks, but James Gunn's like, nah, it's coming out next year. And it looks like, when next year meaning 2024, he insisted that that's happening. And hey, he's the head of the studio, so I'm going to assume he knows what the hell he's talking about. But also, there's a rumor going around that one of the villains in Creature Commandos is going to be the villain Cersei, who you would know. And I'm not saying I'm hugely involved and intimately not knowledgeable about this, but she is a Wonder Woman villain. Or Cersei being kind of a Greek
real
god.
Wonder Woman villain. Jesus.
Yeah, an actual Wonder Woman villain. not
Right.
which
1984.
well,
Jeez.
but to be fair,
I want to
that
hear it.
she was an actual villain. Now in the comics, Wonder Woman does fight whatever her name was.
She's like
Tiger.
a D tier villain for Wonder Woman, man. That's not. She's like I'm trying to give a good comparison.
Well, look, she got a glow up in the movie. She got that little, she got upgraded. So she gave her a fight. But Cersei is an actual, a god, or is either a god or a god or a demigod. Either one with the power to actually give Wonder Woman the business.
Yes.
But in this case, apparently she's going to be in. Creature Commandos. But who's going to play this character? The rumor is it's Anya Chalotra. I think I'm saying that name right. Which you don't know who the hell this is because you don't watch The Witcher. But I know who this is, and she is a great actor. First of all, if you just see a picture of her, beautiful woman. She is absolutely like she has a great look. Remember, in Creature Commandos, also in live action, right? So they're casting people not just for their voices, but also for the look. And if she's gonna have that look, she's got a good look to suit up and be a badass. Like to me, if you remember, we were watching what was it, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. And do you remember the character that Lucy Liu played? Like, you could slot Anya Chalotra in very easily, and she would look just as awesome as in that role. So, I'm saying, like, for real, I'm serious. She's good. She's really, really good in The Witcher. Probably, maybe my favorite character in The Witcher. And I think, and she also has a really great voice also. So I feel like if this is true, if this rumor is true, that's a hell of a get for the DC universe. Like James Gunn got a really good person to slot in there to be a villain. So you don't know who this young lady is, but just going based on what I say, and just the fact that they're having Cersei in general. How do you feel about this?
My whole thing is that I honestly, when it comes to casting actors and actresses, I'm honestly at this point almost don't care because it's at the point that these people are professionals. Getting so uptight over who plays a character is not something that I really get too upbeat about anymore. But the simple fact that I'm happy that Cersei is going to be part of his new universe instead of, like I said, I don't care what anybody says, that cheetah chick is like a D-list character for like Wonder Woman. And it finally, Wonder Woman is doing what I'm like, this is just showing that he's going to actually have Wonder Woman fight who she's supposed to be fighting. God and goddesses. Nothing else. I don't want to see Wonder Woman deflecting bullets off of her freaking thing. Yeah, this ain't the 1970s and the 1980s. That is not impressive for Wonder Woman. Like, I was like telling that to somebody, and they were like, oh, you just don't like that. I said, no, because that's not impressive. Wonder Woman deflecting bullets is not impressive at all. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, Wonder Woman is literally female Superman.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be like punching people across the planet. You know what I mean? Like, she can do that. Her deflecting a bullet does not excite me for Wonder Woman at all. That's something that Spider-Man does.
I will say that, though, that especially the extended version in the Snyder cut of her rescuing the people at in was it the not a bank but a museum. That was pretty. That was dope. So I can't say that her deflecting bullets wasn't cool there.
No, I mean the scene of her saving people.
Yeah.
But like, remember in the first Wonder Woman movie, one of their coolest scenes was her like deflecting the artillery fire, and I'm like, this is not exciting me whatsoever because literally she can move at light speed. Like, of course she could deflect bullets. Now she's fighting. Now Cersei's in there, so I know he's going to start adding like real god and goddesses for her to fight. I'm excited.
Yeah. So basically, you want to see God of War featuring Diana. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. She was Kratos before Kratos.
That would be cool. I'm not. It sounds like I'm making fun. I'm definitely not. I would watch the shit out of that. So I think that would be cool. But in Creature Commandos, I'm curious where that's going. Now, with the understanding that everyone in Creature Commandos, none of them are gods. None of them are demigods. The best you got going on there is probably Dr. Phosphorus and I suppose Frankenstein's monster. And you got Rick Flag Sr. So none of them are demigods. So how are they going to deal with Cersei? But, we've seen in the Suicide Squad, they dealt with, supernatural ridiculousness. So probably they got this covered. I love this actor. So I really am looking forward to, I hope this is true. I'm looking forward to seeing her embody this role in the DC universe. And also, I just love to see good casting. Damn it, let's casting good people in these roles. That means that they're taking this extra seriously. So either way, if we find out more, we will let you guys know all about it. Lottie, we're talking about Spider-Man 2 here. This is a little something that came across the desk. I was just like, okay, cool. But I know in the heart of the fandom menace, there was much wailing and gnashing of teeth and rending of hair and, putting on sackcloth and covering their head in ashes, which, I mean, they do that every Tuesday. But the point is, this time they have a quote reason. And that is that I believe the director of the game, or a director of the game, confirmed that Miles Morales within the Insomniac, Marvel universe, is now the Spider-Man. So it's kind of like the torch has been passed, the mantle has been passed on to Miles. He's no longer, the other Spider-Man. He is the Spider-Man. Which I didn't play the game, so I don't know what that's all about. I'm just going to take that person at their word. And I will say in response, okay, cool. Great. He's the Spider-Man. I'll take it. I already seen that in Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. I accept that in this world where there is a Peter Parker who isn't dead, he gets to take on the full-time mantle and let Peter Parker, I don't know, have a fucking life. But Lottie, how do you feel about this? And have you seen the reaction coming from that dark part of the internet?
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw even one of my favorite YouTubers make a video about it and was complaining about it, and I was like so disappointed. I even commented under his thing. It says, Peter's not immortal, man. It's just like, people are just stupid. And here's the thing.
Not just
they didn't say
stupid isn't the only part of this, though. Let's be fair.
I won't say all of them. There's a good amount that is like, I won't say all of them are like that, but there are people that are just stupid because some people think it's pandering. Some people think, people are like, no. What it is that it happens regardless in the story if it's Miles Morales or what's it called? The Scarlet Spider-Man. Spider-Man takes a seat back for a while because he's a human, And here's the thing. He's not retired. He's not retired. And there's what everyone's saying. He did not say he's the only Spider-Man and Spider-Man retired and we're never seeing Peter again. Because literally the scene they're talking about. I'm telling you exactly, just because, like you said, you're not going to play the game for a while. He was like, "Hey, you got this," and Miles was like, "Yeah, man, I got this." And then immediately after that, it shows Peter on top of a building and says, "Let me do some spider work today." And he calls Miles, "Hey, Miles, you need any help?" And Miles is like, "Nah, man, I got this." And Peter's like, "Well, let me be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a little bit." He's still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's still Spider-Man. It's just the crazy shit, like the absolute ridiculous stuff Miles will handle. And if Miles needs help, Peter will help. But here's the thing that's even crazier, where I was telling people, you're like, I told the guy in the video, like one of my favorite YouTubers, but I told him straight up, you're stupid if you think Peter is no longer going to be in the game. And he replied back to me and says, inform me why. He said, inform me why Peter will still remain in the game. Because remember I told you that Venom in this universe is God King Venom and can basically take over the entire planet if he wanted to, because the symbiote is that powerful?
Yeah.
Carnage is still out there. And the only way to beat that symbiote is with the anti-venom suit. And the person who has the anti-venom suit, who is permanently attached to it, cannot be removed, is Peter. Insomniac is pretty much telling you, Peter will be in the third game, you jackasses. Jesus Christ. It's literally like the whole thing with Ratchet and Clank. It literally happened with Ratchet and Clank when the whole fandom was like, oh God, Ratchet is he's given the mantle to his female universe counterpart. Ratchet is like 40 years old, guys. He's going to still help Rivet, but he's old. He's old. Ratchet, I was like, guys, if you like, I told one dude that was talking about with Ratchet and Clank. I said, bro, if you want to play as Ratchet and Clank, there's 10 other games you can go back and replay as Ratchet. God damn. And I'm like, he's going to be in the next game, because if you 100% the game, it shows clearly in the post-credit, Ratchet is right next to Rivet. It's the same thing with this game. Peter is still being Spider-Man. God damn. Oh, Black Spider-Man.
This
is gnashing of teeth. Okay, guess what? Guess what happens? Guess what happens? This is going to piss off even more people. Guess what's going to happen? Peter canonically has a daughter, and eventually she takes over too. Oh, a female Spider-Man! No! That's how they're gonna act, and I'm just gonna look at them like, you guys have problems.
Well, this is the sort of like brain dead, brain damaged, like foolishness that this anti-woke bullshit does to people. They can't even just like accept that shit changes. This is that like for real. This is this backward, like they're so used to seeing only this one bit of representation, and anything else looks like it's oppression. It's not fucking oppression. Like, just, it's a different story being told. Hey, I'll even accept maybe they are specifically saying we're gonna do Black Spider-Man or female Spider-Man or whatever the fuck, or gay or transgender Spider-Man, specifically to increase diversity, you know, in our storytelling. We're going to do that. Who gives a fuck? If the story's still good, what does someone being trans or black or whatever have to... It doesn't hurt you watching this. Like, you still got fucking Peter Parker, but you know what? This other minority community, now they have a spider person that's like them too. Like, get the fuck over yourself. It's selfish, you know, regressive bullshit. And dare I say, racism too. I'm just gonna fucking say it. Like, if you have a problem with Miles Morales being called Spider-Man when he's literally a fucking Spider-Man, you're just being racist. That's it. Don't give me this whole, oh well, Peter is the real one. No, that's not good enough. You're not. I'm sorry. I'm not hearing that. You're making up some bullshit to cover up the fact that you are uncomfortable that a black kid gets to be called the Spider-Man. And that's all there is to it. You can't, no other explanation makes any fucking sense. Even Peter Parker himself within the story is fine with it.
And plus, in this story...
Let me just, to finish this point. it's the same people that are complaining about, oh, Sam Wilson's not really Captain America. Captain America in the fucking story handed him the shield and said, "You're it now." He tagged him in. What the fuck else do you want? Like, yeah, you could be like, well, that's the woke writers writing it. Yeah, okay, fine. The woke writers.
It was a comic book back in the 80s, wasn't it?
It's been going on forever. Like, you guys, it's fucking look. I'm not gonna do subtext at all. You're just being fucking racist.
And here's the thing about in the story of the Insomniac Spider-Man, Peter is like probably in his like late 20s, early 30s, because he's been Spider-Man for a very long, like, you know, all the like story bits of Spider-Man, he's been there, done that. He's already fought the Sinister Six. He's already had his fling with Felicia. He's all like pretty much in this story. If I had to he's been Spider-Man for almost 2 decades in this story, and him and Mary Jane are moving in together and settling down. It takes time to, you know what I mean? Especially when he can just allow Miles to because Miles got really nothing else to do right now.
I mean,
you don't got much else to do.
I mean, besides, you know, being a teenager and just, you know, living his life. But yeah.
But that's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Peter is not giving up being Spider-Man. It's just the main Spider-Man is just going to be Miles for now. But until it gets to a certain part when Miles needs some like, hey, Peter, I need some time off from college. Guess what? Peter will be like, yeah, I got you. I'll be Spider-Man for about a year. I got you. Yeah. That's the whole thing. They're not saying Peter is no longer ever going to be Spider-Man in the story. They're just saying from now on, and basically, as I read it, until further notice, he's Spider-Man, which is fine.
The main guy's Miles Morales.
Yes.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, but also completely expected from that corner of the net. It's just like insecure ass man babies that, you know, God forbid you're not centered, or someone that looks like you isn't centered in a story. Now you start crying like, you know, the people calling people snowflakes are snowflakes. Surprise. Anyway, let's go, Miles. I love Miles Morales, so that's cool. Good on them for doing that, and cope harder, bitches. Moving on. Let's talk about the SAG strike. Yes, they're still striking. Hey, remember that deadline? If we don't get this done by Friday, just forget about it. We're not going to negotiate again until January. So anyway, they were negotiating again over the weekend and yesterday, because deadlines don't mean shit when you don't have any real leverage. But SAG is still, you know, SAG and AMPTP, they are still not at a deal, and for a reason. And this reason is this: the whole thing with AI and with scanning and reusing the likenesses of actors, which, I mean, no surprise, this has become a hot button issue ever since they first said, like, ooh, we can scan people and then like put them into a movie. We knew this shit was going to come to a head, and the main reason is because the usage of scanned likenesses, you know, and how they are paying for them. So, and to be fair, I read kind of the Cliff's notes of this from SAG members, so I take this with a grain of salt, but they seem to be implying that the perpetual, you know, license essentially to use someone's likeness even after they're dead, and possibly without the permission of the person themselves. Like, obviously if they're dead you can't get their permission, but I think they're trying to say that, we get permission from whoever their estate is. But if there is no estate, it sounds to me like they can just use the person's likeness forever without having to pay or compensate anybody. And
That is freaking.
Well, and hey, it gets better or worse or more ridiculous. Also, they seem to want to be able to pay to use it up front, but not to have to pay again every time they use it. So if imagine, if you will, let's say Brad Pitt gets scanned in for a movie, for Ocean's 12 or Ocean's 15, right? They got his likeness digital, and then they can use AI and digital techniques to basically have that digital likeness do whatever the hell. Well, they paid him for that, and they don't. But what they don't want to do is pay him every time they use that likeness again. So let's say they take that digital Brad Pitt and put him into Ghostbusters 17, right? And they're just like, no, we paid you that one time for this. We're just going to use it whenever. We'll cut and paste you into whatever the fuck we want. Now, mind you, that in combination with AI voice training would essentially make it possible to have Brad Pitt in any fucking thing you want, right? And it would only, you wouldn't have to pay him because you paid him for that one. Like, obviously, this is a fucking ridiculous, thing to say. Like, Lottie, in what world does that make any fucking sense? Like, you're gonna scan my picture and then be like, I don't need to hire you, I have your scan. In what ways does that make sense that you think the actors are gonna sign off on that?
Please, for the love of God, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Like, this is evil. Like, I've watched a lot of horror movies and played a lot of horror games. This is the scariest shit I've heard. This is one of the scariest things I've ever heard in my life. You know why? Because I may not live. Well, I probably will. We will probably, but we'll be old. We'll live in this dystopian future where they will have no fucking actors. The movie's just AI. It's an AI movie. Like, the movie was made with 100% AI. AI scans, AI script, AI music, AI voices. It will be a fucking... Yeah. This is a slope that Hollywood... Like, if that happens, Hollywood might as well just go under because no one will fucking watch that shit.
Well, and the actors are being like, hey, no fucking way. No way we're signing off on this shit. Because if they get rid of actors, they're going to get rid of crews and sets and everything like that. Because if you have AI actors, what the fuck do you need all of the people working on set for?
This is one of the things that I was like talking about with my coworker about how companies get so greedy that they start doing dumb shit just to save money. And this is one of them. Because literally, if you do this, don't expect anybody to ever watch any of your movies ever again.
But I don't agree. That's the thing is I don't think that's true at all. People watch the most ridiculously low budget, low class, no effort given crap. I'm one of them. I like shitty movies. I'll be the first to tell you I'll go watch a horrible looking movie, but they were made by people. People are
exactly, But that's what I'm trying to say. People won't watch. You know what the number one watch thing on the planet is? Is reality TV. People at the end of the day, and you know what the number two most watched thing on the planet is? Porn. And you know what the number one most watched porn is? Amateur porn. You know what that tells you? People love watching things setting. These are statistics that I've watched. I've got from different type of YouTube videos I've watched when it comes to the way people think. But it just shows, and this is the same thing of why what's that thing called? OnlyFans and Patreon and everything blew up so big because people at the end of the day, as much as Hollywood or really smart, intelligent people think they know about human beings, human beings still want to be still human beings are more interested in watching things that are set in reality. As much as we like to watch, as much as I love to watch video games, I mean, much as I love to play video games and watch anime and all that stuff, I'm a massive football watcher. I love football. I would not watch football if it was robots out there.
What would you watch?
Because you know why?
Would you watch football if Madden 57 comes out and it looks like photorealistic and the AI, they figure out the AI movements and everything like that, so it looks.
I will still watch football.
It's slightly out of the uncanny valley, so it looks more like a real game than anything else.
I will still watch football over a AI machine. Because you know why? Because I can control AI. You cannot control football. People want things set in reality because they don't want things to be predictable. Because at the end of the day, you can predict what you're watching. People watch movies even though they know movie is a script, but there's still that thing of it being set in reality with real actors who can make mistakes or certain things like that. AI will take if they make everything out of AI. I'm telling you, Maurice, people will not watch it. You may think it because you may think it, and other people like these ultra billionaires may think it. I'm telling you, people will not watch it. It's like I said, if they could replace football with machines, nobody will watch it. People want to watch. This is why people don't watch robot sports. There's a lot of robot sports out there. No one watches it because people like things to be set in reality. We like to see human beings doing things. We're not going to watch AI. And if they do that, they're destroying their own pockets. Hey, they can do whatever they want.
I did like the little example we saw recently of, I'm sure you saw it, that little video where they digitally inserted shitty, actors. And I don't mean the actors themselves are shitty, but like the shitty AI or whatever CG generated bystanders at a game. And it's so awful now. It is so awful now. In 20 years' time, it will be so much better. And so this is absolutely but the other thing is, if they scan people, it's going to be even better, even more so. Remember that the AI is being trained on, and there are lawsuits going against the AI companies for training them on copyrighted material. But the point is, the generative AI is being trained on how to draw pictures, how to make videos, how to make scripts, how to mimic voices. And I suspect that it can be trained on how to move like a person based on watching all this footage of people moving around. And this is why you feel like no one will watch that. No, I'm certain, because all you have to do is present that as the only option, and people are going to eventually go with it. Like, how many people are like, I love McDonald's? McDonald's is trash food. And yet, once you've trained a generation on it, that's good shit to them. That's all I'm saying. Like, yes, we could, eat filet mignon at a Michelin star restaurant, but most people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to go to McDonald's and get their little, cheap, vaguely satisfying, but also vaguely off-putting meal. And I'm certain of that. So why they got to cut this shit off at the knees right now and not let the AMPTP get even a fucking foot in the door on this? Because if they let them do that, if they let them, do the likenesses, if they let them do the AI, if they're an actor, it will cripple the actors union, cripple them, because now you don't need all of these, minimum wage actors. You don't even need the A-listers, and they're gonna sweeten the pot for some of them to make sweetheart deals to use their likeness forever. and we're gonna get shit knockoff, you know, shitty knockoff Brad Pitt movies with his AI that's sort of, kind of, but not really is him. So it's I hope they keep their shit together, because we do not need this. Until we have an AI that's actually intelligent and not just, you know, repeating things out of probability.
Never.
Until we have an actual AI that can create on its own, I don't fucking want this.
I don't want this ever. I don't want AI in any form of my entertainment. I do not want AI in my movies. I do not want AI. AI is only meant to make your job easier. AI is not meant to destroy the reality of humans doing their job AI is not there to replace a human in a movie. AI is not there to remove jobs from humans. AI is there to help people do their job. And people are using AI for the wrong reasons. And that is why I hate AI. And that's why when I was in the engineering school, I kept asking my professor, why are they making AI that is going to ruin people's jobs? And he just shrugged his shoulders because he saw it too. I'm like, why are they not making AI that can literally make the environment better? Why are they making AI that can copy and paste people's stuff?
Yeah, because there ain't no money in doing right, I guess. Oh man, this is a big deal. We're gonna keep our eye on all of this. Hopefully, the SAG AMPTP, you know, impasse gets over, and then they can get back to work. But at this moment, I'm not you know, optimistic about it happening this week. So we'll see. We'll let you guys know all about it in the future. So this is a follow-up on that Variety article from last week, where there's a lot of stuff about the goings-on at Marvel and, you know, the difficulties and problems and all the sort of things that are going on over there. And I feel like, Lottie, I mentioned this, and I was affronted when I mentioned it, where the article said, Nia DaCosta, the director of the Marvels, left. No, there was a I guess controversy or whatever they were mentioning, because she left to go to London to prep working on her next film. And the tone of the article, you can go back and read it, but the tone of that part of the article seemed to indicate that she was derelict in her duty, that she just abandoned the project to go work on something else. How dare she? And I believe I said at the time that, hey, she's got contracts, she's got to do stuff, and plus they delayed the movie how many times. Like, she got to get on with it. Her schedule is her schedule. They schedule these things ahead of time, and she had to go do work she said she was going to go do. And I'm sure Marvel knew about that when they were doing all their schedule shuffling. Well, Nia DaCosta had some things to say about this. And I want you to pick up that phone, because I fucking called it. I said this shit, and here's what she had to say. This is just I'm just reading the quotes from this this Threads post. And she says that that the release date for the Marvels changing 4 times forced her to do post-production remotely while working on her next film because she was contractually obligated to. You hear that? Her contract said you are going to start this movie at X time. Now, the reason why I'm calling attention to this is because dum-dums that don't know shit about the way movies work, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but at least I have some kind of passing knowledge about it, acting like she doing something wrong. And we know the dum-dum I'm talking about is the motherfucker that wrote this article, trying to make it seem like she was doing something wrong. No, understand this. Movies are made on borrowed money. Almost no movie is made with cash. It's made with borrowed money. So when you borrow money, you tell them, I need money and I will pay you back. and that clock starts ticking as soon as you get that money from whoever's, loaning you the money. Schedules in Hollywood are based around the fact that they have to pay money back to finance movies. That is the way it works. So when they say, "Oh, actor, are you going to be we want you to be an actor in this thing. Here's when we're going to be filming," and their agents and everybody work out their schedule so that they will be there for that time. Same thing with the director of of photography, light, sound, all the people that work on there. They're all based on this schedule because they got to pay that money back eventually. And you can't pay money back until you make money. This all makes sense, right, Lottie? They have a schedule.
Yeah.
Now, because as a working actor or director or whatever, you don't work for a corporation, so you don't have a constant paycheck. You are a gig worker. You need to get your next thing. So your agent is there to say, all right, you got this for X number of weeks or months. Cool. Right after that's done, bam, you got another project. Cool. We're going to schedule it like that, give you a little cushion just in case, there's some overruns, but bam, there you go. Nia DaCosta, she has this movie. She said, cool, I will do she did her previous movie. Kevin Feige wants me to direct this. I'm down. I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. And it was supposed to take a certain amount of time. Then she would be done and she could go on to her next project, right? Except this thing got delayed 4 times. Now, do the people that she signed the contract with for the next movie give a fuck about that? No, because their financiers don't give a fuck about that either. They don't care about that. They said, you said you're going to pay us at this time, so we expect to start getting payments at that time. And all the schedule is based on that. So all this shit about her somehow being irresponsible for doing that is bullshit if you know even the slightest thing about the way Hollywood works. And you would think that somebody that works at Variety would know how Hollywood works, since they're sitting up there writing an article about Hollywood. And it's their fucking job. And yet, we have this article that sits here and tries to make it out like she's somehow going to be responsible for, whatever she's being set up to be the fall guy for this shit, when she's just doing what every other director or creator does. James Gunn literally was working on the Guardians holiday special while he was working on Peacemaker. Anyway, let me finish quoting what she said. He said, "By the time I left to start prep on my next film, everyone was so clear about what the film was, what we wanted. It really wasn't this dramatic sort of thing people are thinking it is. Yes, because the Marvel method kind of keeps the director out of the fucking editing process too in the post-production. We also know that too, right?" Going on, it says, she also revealed that Marvel Studios knew she was already signed on to work on a new film, but despite that, she still delayed her next film 3 times to keep up with changes on the Marvel. So not only that, she had her other things she was contractually obligated to go do. She pushed it off 3 times and got the okay from the people, from the people that were going to be paying her for that project to push it off 3 times. So this Variety article is full of shit to try to make it out like she's the problem. She wasn't the problem. She was being a responsible member of the Marvel's crew, the responsible director of the Marvels, pushed off other shit she was obligated to do, and then went to go do it because a contract's a contract. And people want to act like she's being weird. It's not fucking weird. It's normal. In fact, it's abnormal that Marvel was asking her to push her other shit off, as if they don't matter. Anyway, Lottie, I've ranted for a little while. What did you think?
You said it. Clearly, he did what he was told to do. I don't think he doesn't know what's going on.
But yes. You talking about
the writer of the
I'm talking about the writer of the article. Writer of the article, yes.
The writer of the article did what they were supposed to do. I do not believe that they don't understand what's going on. You said it yourself. She's the fall guy.
Yeah.
Clearly, They're setting her up. They've been setting her up to be the fall guy before this article came out. And I believe Disney or somebody is doing it. And I think it's Disney. They're setting, because there has been like stuff about her. Clearly, they're like, if this movie doesn't do good, we're going to point at her.
Yeah.
And unfortunate. This is sort of why some people are not messing with Marvel anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is, and again, that's is total bullshit, because we all know, anyone who halfway pays attention to what Marvel does and how they work knows that part of the movie, hell, up to half of the movie is crafted in post-production. What they go and the director goes and shoots and everything like that, all of that stuff, that's one thing. But in post-production, that's when they shaped them. Literally, Iron Man 1 was like that. That they finally they got it together in post. So actually, the director is only doing half of the job. It feels like the other half of the job is, once they get all the footage and coverage, and they come back for a reshoot and go and reshoot again, and whatever. It's the people, it's the editors and in post production who are actually sort of doing the second part of the job. So obviously she's going to give some input. And here's another fucking thing. She was in London, she, like, as if she abandoned the project. They have the internet. They literally, during COVID, people were editing whole movies remotely. Like, and I don't mean like, just by themselves, they were just on the, no, I mean groups of people, 2, 3, 4 people editing a movie at the same time in different locations, as if they don't fucking understand that there's technology that allows this. This Variety article is like, it makes me question a lot of this article. This shit right here, the way they characterized all of this with Nia DaCosta and her role as director of the Marvels, it makes me question a lot of the shit in this article, because it is slanted and it is intentionally hyperbolic in order to feed the fans, feed the flames of this anti-Marvel sentiment, which I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not even going at this as a Marvel shill. I'm literally looking at this like, this part right here is full of shit. How much of the rest of this article is full of shit? So anyway.
I mean, it is pile up season. It is pile up season for Marvel, because I see IGN just made a video docu-series saying what happened to Marvel.
Yeah.
So
it's fucking irresponsible is what it is, because again, she's not doing anything that many other directors have done. But there's something different about her. What could it be about this particular director working on this film? What could it be about her that's so different from other directors that she deserves to have this kind of, let's just call it, hatchet job done on her? I wonder what it could be. Like, I'm not fucking stupid. The person who wrote this article is not stupid either, but they are an asshole, and this is bullshit. And Nia DaCosta deserves better than this. Whatever you think about the Marvels, the movie, when you finally see it, whatever you think about it, understand she did nothing wrong. She actually went above and beyond to try to continue to be at the helm of this movie. So, fuck that article. At least in this particular thing. And I question the rest of it. Anyway. Ooh, okay. Get my blood pressure up. Anyway, we're gonna keep an eye on that whole situation, and we will let you guys know what's up with the Marvels when we get a chance to see it. So finally, Lottie, this is just red meat for the fans. Literally red meat, because we found out from the director of Blade, he said Marvel's letting me make Blade R-rated. So we know the original series was R-rated and bloody as hell, mainly because it's bloody as shit. It not really sexual stuff within it. It was mostly Blade just raining blood all over everything, and dismembering and maiming, and generally being just a kind of a slasher. But we were worried. Hey, it's in the MCU now. It's probably going to be PG-13 because that's the way they do it. But we're getting an R rating. So Lottie, how do you feel about this? Is this a ray of sunshine in the bleak days that have been Blade so far?
Do you want me to be honest?
I do. I do want you to be honest.
I feel nothing. You know why? Because this movie still doesn't have a script. When this movie, we've been talking about this movie for, it feels like 3 years. It's definitely been 2 years because we talked about this movie and during the first early days of the Supercast, and the movie's still not out. I can't get excited for this at all. This movie could be rated R now, and they can hire a new director and be back to PG-13. When they have a script and they're actually filming and editing the movie, I'll talk about it. Right now, I'm just being honest. This is from 2 years of just nothing. Because this movie, we've been talking about it for 2 years. This movie was announced in 2019.
Yeah.
It just, I don't, honestly, I don't care. Just being honest.
We've gotten Wakanda forever since then.
That's what I'm saying. This movie, this movie reminds me of? It reminds me of Kingdom Hearts 3 back in 2017 or 2016, where people were like, "Did you see that new trailer?" I don't give a damn. I don't care. When is the game coming out? I don't care. That game was talked about. That game was announced all the way back in 2012. When is it coming out? Oh, it's not coming out till okay. I don't want to hear it. Same thing with this movie. When is it coming out? February 2025? Yeah, it's still 2023. I don't care. Don't care. Just being honest.
They better hurry up. Mahershala Ali he's not old, but he's not young either.
Exactly. I'm like, man, God, it'll be 6 years. If everything goes perfectly, it'll be 6 years.
They would have done Loki season 3 and 4 by then.
Man, Invincible will be on season 5 by then. Shit.
Miss Marvel will have graduated college by then.
Jesus, man.
I think, look, cool. That's all I could say to it is cool. I mean, I did question, I didn't think that you couldn't do vampire horror R-rated, PG-13. I was just like, but it's a movie about things that drink blood. How are you gonna not show blood? And then blood, showing red blood is one of the main ways to get an R rating. So I was like, how are y'all gonna do this? It's is it gonna be a lot of people getting killed in silhouettes or something like that? I'm just curious about how you're gonna make this happen. But I guess I'm gonna say this is probably a result of Alan Horn no longer being at Disney and Bob Iger being back at Disney. And the reason why I say this is because Alan Horn used to be in charge of the film division, and he was notoriously against doing too much R-rated stuff, right? Because obviously if you're trying to get as many people as possible, even in a violent action movie like The Winter Soldier or Endgame or whatever, there's lots of obviously people dying and whatever. As long as you could keep PG-13, kids could come into it, then you widen your audience. So I get that. So Alan Horn's no longer there, and Bob Iger comes back, and he is of the mind to look, Marvel, when I left, Marvel was on top of the world. What the fuck is going on here? Y'all got way too much shit going on. It's not tight. It's not compelling. I need y'all. We need to slow our roll. Get our writing and get our creation on point and get this money, this money printer back going. And if part of that, I have to believe, would be I don't give a fuck if it's rated R as long as it's good enough to make that money. And with an understanding hey, we bought Fox, so there are, we are going to have to like soften our stance on PG-13. And yes, we're a Disney company, but Marvel makes some adult oriented things. And you can also see this with what we're going to talk about last about the Echo series, which is that it is the first TVMA show for Marvel. So clearly this
really
is, it is.
I thought What's the Goal was TVMA.
What's that?
Moon Knight.
No, that was not. It was TV. I forget. Was it 13 or whatever? It was not.
Wow.
But yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. But the point is, this whole fencing off R-rated away from the MCU, clearly, it's not as important as getting the ship righted and in the right direction and in a creative sense, and also the fact that Mahershala Ali, you got to keep this guy around, and you're not going to keep him around with the fucking, Magic Kingdom version of Blade. That's just not going to work. You're going to have to bring the real. So I think this is a good thing. It'll free them up to do a lot more interesting and visceral, action, and just really give us the Blade that we are expecting. So I hope to hear a lot more about this. So when we hear more about it, we will let you all know. Okay, last item for real. So Echo, we look, that trailer came out, right? You saw the trailer, right, Lottie?
Part of it, I haven't finished it.
Well, look, Echo looks fucking badass, actually. Well, I finally got to look at it, and we've been talking about it. There's all these problems with it, and they pushed it back, and they just think it doesn't work, and then they were like, oh, we're just gonna put it out we're gonna drop it all at once. So like, it sounded like Marvel is just like, oh man, we don't believe in this. This is, well, we've already made it, so we're just gonna go ahead and release it and get on with it. And then they dropped this trailer, and it is fucking bad. It's badass. It is. Look, if you like the Daredevil show, and I'm not saying it's going to be like the Netflix Daredevil, but it really did feel awfully like they were taking some cues from it. It looks like whenever there's action in this, it's going to be brutal, and you literally see a dude just get like shot point blank in the head, that sort of thing. So, and I was watching, I was like, how are they getting away with this? Then I saw the TVMA, I was like, aha, they let them loose. They took off of when Rock Lee was fighting Gara, he took the weights off. So it really looks really great. But we also found out that it is going to be the first in a new banner for the MCU. It's called Marvel Spotlight, which I understand is named after a comics, a line of a comic series. That's basically an anthology that would introduce new characters. And I have to say, this is fucking genius. I mean, look, well, genius may be that's a little strong. This is smart. Because what have people been saying about the MCU? Who are these characters? What does this have to do with anything? Why does it, how does this relate to the overall story of the MCU? And I've been wanting to tell people, probably nothing. You're probably just introducing characters to grow out the universe, right? And that's literally what Echo is a character that is there, Maya's story has nothing to do with Kang Dynasty or the Avengers or anything like that, but it's an interesting character and a story told within the Marvel universe, and that's what Marvel Spotlight's supposed to be about. These characters, you don't have to know about what's going on with the mainline MCU, but you can come in like an anthology, get in, see this interesting story about a person that's in the MCU, and maybe one day they're gonna, maybe eventually they'll show up in something. Anyway, Lottie, There, you saw part of the trailer, but you hear about this new initiative that they're doing. What do you think about it?
I mean, the best movies that the Marvel made, in my opinion, were the more street level type movies with, you know, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, stuff like that. I don't think everything needs to be this super galactic, ultra end of reality thing. They can do some more street level stuff. And to be honest with you, I think that is the best of the Marvel Rose Gallery, you know, instead of trying to make things, because I think, just my opinion, Marvel's galactic and like super world ending thing is just, when it comes to villains and Rose Gallery, it's not on the tier of DC. So I think they should try to keep their stuff more street level. Their street level stuff is definitely better, because really on the street level, the only thing that anybody cares about on street level is Batman. But Marvel has a lot of street level. Unfortunately, they don't own their number one street level hero, Spider-Man. But they got other ones that people care about, and
Yeah.
Daredevil's one of them, and Echo could be a part of the Daredevil world and universe and stuff like that. And I am happy that they're realizing, yeah, we don't have to make planets blow up all the time. We can just have somebody save a building on a street from blowing up.
Yeah, it's. I forgot to mention. So you see Kingpin in here. Obviously, Daredevil's going to show up too. This really is. It's doing what I think you and I sort of were speculating. Like, are they going to try to setting up a corner like the street level part of the MCU? They are far past needing to do that. They should have made Marvel Knights immediately after Endgame, right? Just immediately threw Spider-Man into there. Once obviously they couldn't do that after because of Far From Home or No Way Home, but now he can be Marvel Knights, right? You got Daredevil. Yeah. They're bringing Born Again, Marvel Knights, Echo, Marvel Knights. Start this thing about, and this is being a victim of your own your own success is erroneously building towards the Infinity War and Endgame, and making everyone feel like every movie is doing that. And that is the one of, if you can call this one of their if you can say they made any mistake in the run up to Endgame, it was making everyone think that every single one of the fucking movies was necessarily an important step towards Endgame. And so it set up people thinking that every Marvel movie is setting you up to the next Endgame. And I'm like, that's not how comics works. Sometimes Spider-Man just has to swing around New York and take out a regular fucking villain, right? He doesn't have to stop the world ending. Sometimes Daredevil is just beating up the Hand, and that's fine. We as Marvel watchers, we have been trained to look at every movie, every episode, every TV show, and be like, how does this connect to this universe shattering thing that's happening? They don't. And you can have an enjoyable time just being around a character that's doing interesting things, and the world's going to continue to orbit the sun, whether or not they win. That's what, and I hate that we've gotten to that point. And I hope Spotlight can be the way, and not just TV shows, but movies too, to get people in line with the idea that we aren't here for the eventual big old event. We're here to be interested in this character and what they're going through. That's it. So I have high hopes for Echo. It's coming out in January, dropping all 5 episodes. I hope that it is as good as that trailer was. This Marvel Spotlight, I think it's a good idea, and I think we're going to keep a close eye on what they do with that. So anyway, I think that's all of our thoughts on all of these items for this week. But what did you guys think about what we had to say? Did we miss something? Did we get it wrong? Do you just want to give me kudos for that epic rant that I had? Whatever the case may be, get down to the comments section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, supernotfunnyshow on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. Any of those places, reach out. We will definitely get back to you. And while you're doing all that, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All of that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and all of the other content on this channel. And you know, I can't do this podcast by myself. Someone has to bring me back from the brink of just like, you know, ranting my head off about superhero things. And of course, that's Lottie. So, Lottie, where can they reach you on your social media?
Okay, you can always find me on my Instagram, which is Instagram and YouTube, which is Anukinihun. Again, Anukinihun, ANUKINIHUN. Again, ANUKINI.
Okay. Can I interrupt? I thought it was Anukinihun animation.
Well, yes, it is Anukinihun animations, but if you just type in Anukinihun, it will just go straight there.
I got you.
Because it's pretty much my Google, my YouTube is at Anukinihun. Right?
Oh, okay.
So it was just. So yeah, both I've made it to basically both of them are on Ukinihun, so it's easy to find me. So yeah, that's all you got to do. Check out the content. I'm sure there's something on there that you'll like.
Yeah, you guys go like, subscribe, show Lottie some love. You know what to do. Get out there and hook it up. All right, thanks for joining us this week on episode 126 of the Supercast. Come back next week. We're going to talk about the Marvels. We're going to talk about Invincible. We're going to talk about all of the news. Hopefully this strike will finally be over, but even if it's not, I'm sure there's going to be plenty in the superhero world for us to talk about. Until then, I've been Mo, your commentary extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.